Hey everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would show you an update on this fairly bizarre space station concept idea. Now, since I worked on it last time, I got a heads up from a different author kind of explaining that, hey, another option would be to mount more modules, but use angles and everything else with it. And that author kind of sent me a ship. This is called the Torch Helios. I don't believe it's on the workshop yet. I think it's a work in progress yet. But same idea here where you have Helios modules and you can dock on like this angle here, on the top, on this side, on this side. So basically you can get a whole bunch of modules around here. Now some of these ports are different on each side and I don't exactly know what docks where exactly yet, but I like the idea a lot, and I'm sure this all works out. So I wanted to show you right now is where I'm at with this thing. And this is, yeah, it's a fairly bizarre space station. So I've been working on the blockwork a lot on it. I don't have the backside kind of worked out quite yet. Thinking of different ideas here. And my storage, I'm probably going to have to modify a little bit for different purposes and put some blocks back in here. But obviously, from what I showed last time, you do park HVs, SVs, or whatever on these basically inside docking panels here, and they will give you access to get, well, not on that side, I guess, or this side. Geez, I must have blocked my doors. I got to modify this, and I wanted to get some glass in the center section, but there will be doors around this section here. And then this gets you into the central area of the station, which is going to have a huge amount of production in it, or capable of having a huge amount of production in it. I've just been kind of working out storage right now, and I'm going to remap some of this and try to utilize space a little bit more and get even more storage in it. But currently it's got six 640K storage bays. That's what these are. Now these controllers are probably not going to be right where you're seeing them right now. It's just I wanted to establish, the counts for all these things here and get the right number of cargo extensions in place. So I may move the controllers around and manipulate this a little bit once I start to work out the interior area of this room. So anyway, six 640s. It's got two 320s, and that's what the N2 are right now. Plan on adding some more 320s in here as well, and that'll probably go up around this wall, or I might reutilize some of this area a little bit differently. Also, I guess, if I did keep this on the base floor, though, it kind of would work. Now in comments too, there was some people that would like the option of a gravity generator and keep it kind of more normal-ish on the inside, I guess. That is a distinct possibility too. The way I've got this room set up, actually it could have a floor that goes across the top here, where this is just a lower room too, and then I would actually keep the controllers where they are, and then like constructors or deconstructors and stuff can go on the insides of some of these areas. Furnaces are going to go across the top. That can hold 4 furnaces, but basically just a huge amount of production on there. Now on grow plots, it has 162 grow plots. Now it won't come stock with the grow plots. I do have a fake floor below all this, so you can they can be gone and you can place them at any time, and it's actually part of the hall below there too, so you won't have an air breach. But it's got a 3-block tall ceiling, which is a bit wasteful right now. And that's why I kind of wanted to redo a lot of the storage so the ceiling can come down more and I can get more storage in this area of the base. Now with the module bays, I do plan on having module bays in the center here. I just haven't built out a interface, I guess you could say, for it. On these other ones here, I basically been playing around a lot. I want them to be accurate when you land them, and that's why I put these pieces in place to basically hold the module down, so you can go to this front wall, which is at a 45-degree angle, and then push up. Basically, when you're actually docking here in the game, it doesn't seem like you're off-centered when you're looking at it, because if you come in at the right angle straight, it's just like docking on anything else, I suppose. So being at a 45-degree angle is not really a bad thing. It's just I wanted it to be accurate with docking, and that's why I wanted to put these kind of things above it. So you can press up against that, so you can get a nice accurate dock point. And then I'm using these kind of 45-degree ramp doors here. I'm a little off on my dock here, but the interface here I'm not entirely happy with. I think it's a little weird. It's a little weird, and I don't know. I'm going to try to tweak it out a little bit better on how this is working right now. It does work, and I've got these airtight doors here, but honestly, I think this is going to be open space here anyway, so I'm not so sure there's any good reason to have airtight doors here. Now, of course, if you really wanted to make a lot of interior space, I could fill this back section in, and that would give you a huge amount of room, but the space station was supposed to be smaller and cheaper, and not be a gigantic space station, so that's why and I might even take these panels here where you dock into them and get rid of a lot of the blocks and make them a little bit, I don't know, look a little thinner and not quite as solid as what they look right now. But as long as they have the function of being able to dock that way. But in current configuration, you obviously in the angles you could get 4 modules there. You have 2 more on the sides, and I'm not so sure I want to put like one that comes straight down. You could go down this direction and park one like that, and the same thing on the bottom, and that would give you 8 modules across there. I just don't know if I want to go that route or not. You'd have to come in at a specific angle when you do it. It can be a little confusing, I mean, where to dock and stuff with it. But the way I've got it right now, I had to do like the frames on the top are inverse of the ones on the bottom of the station. Otherwise, you'd have to flip this upside down when you're docking it from the orientation of the rest of the station. I didn't want to do that either. So basically, the idea I'm thinking right now is 6 modules, standard Helios modules. It could have another, certainly could have a dock point over this way too. And I was thinking, well, a dropship module would be kind of neat to go there. I already got one of those and whatnot, and there's a couple other ones out there too. The only problem is the dropship module is made to unload vehicles, and there's no like unloading place for the vehicles over on this side of the base. So that part of it doesn't make sense really. So I don't know. I'm still thinking about how I want to do that. And it's just a very unique design. A bit of recap too. I spawned in a bunch of older stuff here, and just wanted to show you the space stations I made to date. Or, well, most of them are finished except for one that I probably will never finish. But so the very first space station I made a very, very long time ago is the Sentinel Station. This thing is a giant station. The idea behind this one, and this was one of my earliest creations released, probably within the first 10 creations that I ever put to the workshop. And this one was basically wanted to have a giant hangar that was passed through with big hangar doors and a lot of parking space inside it. And this is a gigantic station on the inside. It's got so many floors and rooms and giant farming sections and things like that. Now it's really dated, really old. And I look at this too, and I'm just like, yeah, I would have done things so much differently now. Like, you notice how the ceiling is all flat, and the good old metal textures on there and stuff. Like, if you've seen my more recent stuff, you'd realize that I would have done all kinds of stuff with the ceiling in here. Maybe in this case I couldn't on this floor, but I would have done something to add more detail there now. I guess I did a little bit on the top floor of the. So yeah, this thing has just actually how many grow plots does this thing have in it? 288 grow plots in this one. So yeah, I had a lot of that, had production, but it was kind of spread out over all different areas of the base. I had all kinds of rooms that I really didn't know what to put in there. Just I had floor after floor after floor, and then it was different on the front side of the base and the back side of the base. But anyway, it was a fun build. It got a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be, and it was based upon. Well, the original idea was I was going to have a vertical kind of station, and that's where this big center section came into play. But when I started building it to a certain extent, then I realized, well, geez, I got no room for a hangar. I was going to keep it all kind of thin and stuff, more looking like a skyscraper than a big wide object like it is. But then I wanted a big hangar, and then I wanted a big landing pad for CVs and things like that. So it ended up getting a lot bigger than I originally planned on. So the next space station I made was the Helix Orbital, I do believe. And this was actually probably a good year or so, at least after that space station. And this one had a different design idea. It had kind of this a little bit more, I don't know, I wouldn't say like space agency kind of look to it. And a kind of a central column here. This one, the highlight of this space station that I liked is the use of force fields around the hangars on both sides of it. I actually kind of like that open air feeling when you're out there. It's I don't know, it's kind of immersive. You can see outside and whatnot. And this one had a weird solar array, and that was largely due to the weird solar limits in the game. This was a vanilla build as well, so was that one. But it only allowed 15 solar panels, which never works out to a good combination trying to do solar arrays unless you do like 3 sets of 5 or something like that. So that's why this weird thing is on this side. It was supposed to have been all kind of like similar, but I couldn't add enough solar panels and whatnot to really make it work. This one also had a big, fairly good-sized farm section in it. Just curious how many farms this or plots it had. 108 on this one. So, but this is currently it's badly out of date. This was built before weights and volumes, so it does have doesn't have storage controllers in it. It's like, I believe, old school. So you got a bunch of cargo boxes and stuff like that. It does have a deconstructor here, it looks like. So that was in the game at the time, but yeah, it didn't have the it doesn't have any cargo extensions. It's just a bunch of cargo boxes, which used to be how everything worked. So that was the next one. This one here was something I screwed around with a while back and decided I didn't want to finish it. Excuse me. Kind of a weird little space station. Again, I had the problems with the solar panel count on the top of it. That's why I'm so glad that Reforged Eden switched that 15 to 24. It's an even number. You can do it in multiples of different numbers, and you can build correct solar arrays. But 15 was the really oddball number to set your part limit at. Really made it kind of a mess. So 24 is a good number for that. So this one basically had, I never did finish this, by the way, but hangar, and then it had like another room area here, which is going to be like, I don't know, interior stuff. It looks like a farm section over here, a 36 grow plot farm, and I don't know, maybe a crew area on the bottom. So this was going to be a little bit smaller station. But why I kind of abandoned the idea is it was kind of weird looking. I guess it looks kind of spacey, but it's kind of a waste of blocks the way a lot of this stuff was set up. You know, it's you got like these separate rooms like this, but all the rooms need all their walls and everything like that. And basically, it was coming out more expensive than I would have liked for the amount of space that it actually had in it. So I might have actually built this one after this one, but this one here was my first foray in like a module setup idea, and this is the Hephatus Spaceport. This one I liked quite a bit. It's pretty dated now. I think I did update it. It does have actual storage controllers in it. It just doesn't have as much as I would like. I guess at the time it was, again, for vanilla storage was quite expensive in vanilla, and why it has these bays over here is to dock in additional storage via use of CVs, and that was this Transit L2, which I believe each one of these would have 2 320K storage bays in it, and then these would dock up. The door here on the top would line up to the door here and allow you to walk inside of the space station after you docked your creation. Basically, from the interior here, you could directly go up this elevator. While you pilot the ship there, directly go up the elevator, and then let's dock it. I haven't docked one of these in a long time. Now this one, basically, it's really it's got a lot of thrust on here too, because it was meant to move the cargo. But man, that's a little challenging there. So this one, basically, you would pull all the way up to the wall, center yourself, and then push down to land on the floor. And then you could walk up here and right through this. Get the light back off, and then you could walk right into the station. We did use the station in one of the playthroughs. Its biggest issue was, oh, I don't know. It's got a lot of fluff in it. It's got a lot of crew rooms and other things in it. The farm I was really trying to make fancy, but it overall didn't have a huge amount of grow plots in it. So only like 54 grow plots in it, considering the size of the station. And it's got a lot of places on the station. And what I mean by fluff and stuff like that, especially if you get to the top floor here, is my first attempt at a swimming pool in any build. I was just trying to make it look fancy and neat, kind of more of a space hub kind of thing. What I did like about this one, though, is its repair bay. That block shouldn't be there. I got some, that's weird. But anyway, you got a repair bay here, and it's outside, and then you have your repair console here. I thought this was kind of neat. I like that little platform idea there. And then this one had a lot of docking space for HVs and SVs too, also below the main hangar area. It had a lot of weaponry on it too. It was kind of like intended to be attacked by enemies and Xerox and stuff. But then again, I guess I didn't realize at the time that typically when you spawn a station like this, you're going to be spawning in a place that's not hostile, unless you want to fight and potentially lose your space station. So a lot of the guns and things I just found to be very unnecessary, and you were paying for it right off the gates and stuff like that. So after that space station, the next one on the line is I made a smaller one finally, and that is the Mcrn Skywatch. Now I noticed that Excalibur is actually using this one in this playthrough right now, and it seems to be working out pretty good. He had to make some modifications, of course, for reforging and things like that. Not sure how this one's coming out right now. So this one had 36 grow plots, so not a huge amount, but enough. This is supposed to be a small station and upgradable, so basically you got room to add in some more parts and things on the inside. He had to put in another generator, and I think he got rid of one of the farm areas so he could put additional parts that would be needed probably this day and time in the game. And this could repair and had to pass through hangar and solar. And the solar panels, I think, were laid out a little bit better, where it has 14 large solar panels. I couldn't use the 15th solar panel because it's just an oddball number for solar arrays. But yeah, small station. And then probably at this point in time, my favorite of the stations that I made, personal favorite, is probably the Solaris Station. This one is up to date. This one's pretty capable right now. It's just a very large station. Got a lot of room inside. I like the open architecture of it. I liked how the crafting area was set up. And then, of course, you could dock at a huge amount of modules, the Helios modules. So you've got, well, I wouldn't say huge amount. You can, I think 5, or was it 6? Hold on, let me take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 standard modules and 1 dropship module on this one. And this one also had a pretty big farming section on it. It didn't come with the grow plots, but it had a pretty large farming section. And then again, it had some fluff. Had like 2 different like places. Here's one, the blue dwarf, and then it also had the other one, the sunspot down over here. You got to have all that stuff in it, I guess. Another option with this one is it had the option to add in a lot more 320K storage bays if you fill these internal areas in with cargo extensions, and then put your controller right at the front here. It would give you an additional 10 320K bays in it. So yeah, there's this one, and then the last space station I made, of course, was Creel, which is very, very different. This one, it's got the function in it, but it was heavily designed to be Creel and unique, and also be converted to a POI. So I don't think it doesn't have the capabilities of the Solaris Station. It did support modules, so it has 2 module bays out the back over here. And it's got a lot of fluff on the interior, though. I mean, for the most part, when you get into this one, all your main function is right up in this section here, basically docking, and then you've got your production area here. Now, right now, I'm a little annoyed at Creel and MCR on both, and that has to do with the, excuse me again, man, the colors I used, because they're showing up so dark now that it kind of bugs me. It used to be a little bit lighter, and now, you know, when you look at one of these things out in space, it's just jet black. And it used to light up a little bit better and stuff like that. So yeah, like the Creel color scheme is honestly getting to the point now with the changes in the lighting where it's just too dark. And I do have those issues also with the MCRN. They're very, very dark. Now in direct sunlight it's not so bad, but certain angles it's going to look really bad in space. And it's kind of forced me to use lighter colors now. But that's basically all the space stations that I've messed with in the past. So each one I keep on trying completely different styles with. You know, I don't want to repeat the same thing, so every one of these is unique from the other one, and this one, no exception there, completely unique from any of those again. So thought I would try this idea, and I think this idea might work out. Now if we take a look at the cost of this, now what I'm kind of happy about though is Reforge Eden does not charge you CPU, or if it does, very, very little CPU for cargo, which is really nice. If you take a look at the CPU usage on the station, now keep in mind it's got the solar panels installed, but it has no constructors, deconstructors, generators, anything else in it right now. But it is with the 640K storage and the 320K storage, I'm at like hardly any CPU. Like I'm under 5,000 CPU on this thing yet. And it's going to be quite cheap too. I mean, especially after I pull out the 100 and, well, it says 160. I thought it just said 162. Well, 160 grow plots in here. Oh, I pulled out 2 when I was removing those. Okay. But yeah, a huge amount of carbon substrate, but I'm trying to keep this so it doesn't use much of anything. The Sathium usage here, this is a little problematic thing I've got, and it has to do with decor. Not it doesn't need to use Sathium, but if I want to use this kind of glass, I am forced to use Sathium with it. Now I could put in the cheap glass, but it's just it's a cosmetic thing where this looks better than the cheap glass. But like for instance, I think if I were to get rid of these windows here, and let's just say we put in a couple of these bigger ones here. Flip that around. And one small one in the middle here. Oops. There we go. And now if we look at the resource costs, oh, well, the Sathium only went down to 195. Oh, I put some more glass over here in these module bays too, didn't I? Yes, I did. So, yeah, that's kind of the problem with it, is I want to use this glass because it definitely looks better than the other glass for how I'm using it. But it's hugely more expensive. It's going to cost a bunch of Sathium if I go that route. And it doesn't need to have that glass for any kind of protection. Like we just got rid of 4 more, and now the Sathium dropped to 145. If I were to get rid of all the Sathium or all this glass, then it wouldn't require any Sathium at all. Would just make it cheaper yet to spawn in, and you know, obviously remove out all those. Yeah, I don't know. I'm always kind of torn between cosmetics and you know, practical functionality and costs and things like that. Like I wish there was a version of the heavy glass or the armored glass right now that was as weak as your standard glass over here with hit points. Like these, how much hit points does one of these have? Not much, like 150. And not charge you the Sathium for it. I think that would be really, really cool, and then it would kind of be a no-brainer. But obviously, I like the look of the other glass over here a little better. You get the roundy edges, a little fancier looking. But that would ramp up the price here. So on the solar arrays, it's running 24 large solar panels, and that's all I can do on a base. Pretty simple solar panel design, really. I'm just trying to keep it kind of real. I mean, you want have necessarily some big exotic solar panel array, but maybe I'll try to dress it up a little bit more with some more stuff in there. And of course, you got a little bit of framework stuff going on over here. Another thing that may change too is I might change where some of these cargo extensions are, and maybe raise them up a floor so I could get some windows in the farm section that are the level of where the player would be at, rather than like a block row above it. And I was kind of planning out some windows there too. Now, things I did want to modify, I wanted to kind of like take away a lot of the blocks on the angles here, so I could fit in some glass, because when you park your like ships out here, it's kind of neat to see that from this inside area. You could look up that way and see like docked ships around where you are. Just thought that felt kind of neat and immersive, if I pull it off right. But anyway, that's where I'm at right now. A lot of just playing around with this. It's not a huge build. It's not going to take like weeks and weeks and weeks and stuff to do or anything like that. A lot of it's figured out already. It's just trying to figure out how I should finish this side of the station right now, and how am I going to connect like these angled areas to get you easily and quickly into your center section here. And should this area be like an airtight zone for some reason, I don't really see a purpose for it. It's not really a hangar or anything. It's kind of a lot of I don't know, in some ways wasted space. But I don't know. I kind of like the idea of the station being a little bit longer like that. It makes it feel a little less like a pinwheel or something like that. Yeah. Anyway. It could get a lot of modules on it. So questions for you. How do you think I ought to proceed? Do you think I mean, I could allow for module docking on the top and bottom, like vertically, but you would have to like, you know, angle it at one particular direction, like, and come down like this on it. Or just not do that, and then kind of, I don't know, it could have another like landing zone up here, or just open air. Maybe I even put it in a force field or something, I don't know. As in the repair bay, see, this part kind of screwed me up, because your suggestions were to not have the solar panels sticking out the top and the bottom, and I changed that, and I absolutely agree. So the solar panels are just to the sides now, and then then I was going to put a repair bay here, but now that I've got angled modules sticking up that way, it interferes with the repair bay a little bit if you're going to park all the way across it. Now, could have a repair bay like somewhere over here, and then you could kind of like pull up whatever ship you're repairing like this way over this section and stop before you get to the module area. That could probably work. I mean, there's a lot of ways to make it work, but that could probably do the job. And then it wouldn't be a concern. But I'm just curious on your thoughts on this one. You like it? You not like it? Again, it's highly experimental. I like to try new things, new ideas, especially on space stations. There's a lot of different ways you can do space stations, obviously, just like anything else in the game. And it's just kind of fun to play. Mess around with some different ideas, see how they're going to work out, things like that. And I do like the idea, the heads up on the angles. I think cosmetically, once you have especially modules docked in those areas, it kind of adds, it kind of makes it look a little bit nicer. It looks kind of like a weird satellite, sort of, to me. So anyway, that's all I've got for today. I'll keep on working on this, and just curious if you got any thoughts, opinions, any recommendations, or anything that you can come up with to try to incorporate in the space station. And yeah, I love the ideas, and that's, you know, I ask these questions when I do the videos, and often I will use the ideas. I mean, not every time, but quite a bit. You know, like, I thought it was actually a really great idea to redo the solar panels in this format rather than sticking up from all four directions. But I just kind of wanted it even, and now with the angled modules parked over here, it kind of makes it look like it's all fit. Kind of it's a weird symmetrical station and things like that. Anyway, y'all have yourself a great day, and I'll talk to you later.